Hi guys, my name's Ruben.
My name's Evan.
I'm brought back to you for another video. As you guys can see, we're sponsored by
One space.
Indeed. Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about our AI generative products and projects. So Ruben, what have you done over the past couple of weeks?
So the past couple of weeks I looked at using AI to create a business. The way I sort of started by doing it was asking ChatGPT prompts, all this sort, but we'll get into this later. But to give you guys a quick overview and introduction about what I did. So I started a business called Everframe Studio. It's personalised pet photos, which the reason why I did it is because it's simple, it's easy, it's low startup costs. I already have ChatGPT Plus, it already gives me a competitive advantage, and it's very scalable.
Nice.
And I used quite a few models, but we'll get into that later on. Tell me a bit about what you did.
Yeah, so an overview of my project really was I decided to create AI short form content and post it on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and sort of build a platform around there. The aim of my project was to join the programs / become monetized by these apps such as YouTube once I've reached a certain number of followers / subscribers, that is, and a possible sponsorship down the line if they like my content. But the reason I chose this project is because there was a low startup cost, which was zero, scalable. It aligns with digital trends because everything's online nowadays, and AI reduces production barriers. So that is the overview of why I chose this project. And
Like idea.
so, Ruben, how did you use AI in your project?
So I used AI in a different way I normally do it. I gave AI context. So what I mean by this, I told him my age, my current position, what opportunities I have, what advantages I have. So one of the prompts I used was, given my age and current position, what opportunities should I be focusing on? Try to give it context so it tailor my idea more, if you get what I mean. But there was a few downfalls to this though. I feel AI tends to agree with you. It validated, let's say for example, I wanted to expand on one of the points. It would always validate my idea. So what I mean by this, if I said, oh, I like this person's idea, it says, oh yeah, you're thinking the right direction. Then I looked at, I just thought for a test example, I went through the other ideas and thought what I thought of each one, saying, oh, I want to go ahead of this one. And it said the exact same thing at the start line, oh, you're thinking the right idea, which shows me it's not tailoring the idea to myself. I've got to give it though, AI does give very good direction in where you want to go, but it rarely challenged my assumptions. It gave structured answers, as I said, and it makes everything sound achievable, and it gave step-by-step breakdown, which I found interesting. But let's say, for example, what I was surprised by, and what I was really quite shocked by, was the speed of development. How easy AI can take a small concept and turn it into a brand, give me a strategy, give me a product plan in literally seconds. It made with ideas feel real very quickly.
For sure.
But a few disadvantages I give is AI overestimates. So it makes building something sound simpler than it actually is. It doesn't factor in, let's say for example, emotional resistance, doubt, discipline people might have. So it's quite just generic things it's giving. Even when it's tailored, a lot of advice and ideas sound polished but familiar. Execution is still on you. You still got to do a marketing process. Still got to do this, which is probably, I'd say, is a hard actually part of the process. And for one of them, I'd say AI underestimates competition. It rarely talks about how saturated markets actually are.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
For sure. I sort of found similar points to you actually. That what the AI did do was the acceleration of idea generation was insane. Like they just came back to me with really quick ideas,
So quick, isn't it?
and just like a whole business model in seconds. It's quite scary to be honest with you, Ruben.
Yeah, I agree.
But some other good points that I found in my project was that they provided me with some pretty good structured frameworks, and they expanded strategic awareness as well, for sure. And they also identify potential risks, which are all very good things. So yeah, I asked some prompts, such as one of the prompts was, I want to create an AI video content business. Which business model should I use? And it came back with some really critical analysis for me, which was really good. I won't bore you with the details, but yeah, no, it was pretty good. But I'll tell you what it didn't do well, Ruben, is that it definitely lacked, for personally for me, it lacked contextual awareness. So maybe I didn't do what you did and put in too much of my context. I sort
Okay.
of asked what it wanted me to do, but I didn't say too much about myself. So maybe that's my fault. But I think their applied theory is kind of generic. It didn't really explain deeply into the theory, but maybe that's another thing where you can just ask to keep it going, go deeper and deeper, because the AI definitely does that.
I agree.
And I'd say one last thing that AI didn't really do well is they sort of overestimated some things and underestimated some things. So for my personal project, they overestimated the ease of monetization. It's actually very hard to get monetized on YouTube. You need a certain amount of subscribers, and they underestimated the time investment of this project for me, because I've been doing this for 2 weeks now, and unfortunately, I haven't seen any. I've seen a bit of progress, but I haven't gotten to that stage where I can monetize and fully start making any revenue from this project. But yeah, that's what I've learned from AI.
No, I 100% agree with most things. AI algorithm sort of works off what's happened before in the past.
Yeah,
It it can't think for itself. It can't think creatively.
yeah.
And for some of the things, it does make it quite difficult. I agree.
So, Ruben, what theories and models did AI suggest you, and how did that help you within this project?
Interesting question. Okay. So one of the theories, well, let's just look at, for example, is the BML: build, measure, learn.
Love it.
So
Eric Ries, yeah?
it is, yeah.
Of course.
So build. Using AI, I built a product very quickly. Like, as I said before, from the ideation to actually creating a product and getting a viable product I can sell so quickly. I measured it during a process. I tracked views, favorites, sales, and follows to gauge sort of how I was getting on throughout the process.
Yeah.
It sort of helped me if I needed to pivot or needed to change any of my methods and stuff like that, because at one point I did need to sort of change something. I measured my pricing was mainly holding me back from having as much sales as I had. So I offered a 10%, first 10 clients to get a sale, they get 50% off, which I thought was quite good. And then I learned more from what I did. I adjusted some of the designs, as I said before, prices and marketing, all based on my feedback from my measured results. So another one I looked at was Porter's Five Forces. To be honest, I don't think it helped me too much with my thing, because I feel like it's quite a simple concept. It's all quite, it's all general knowledge, isn't it? For example, fresh and new entrants is very high, because anyone with ChatGPT can enter. Obviously, you've got to get a premium model, but it's only £20. It's easy market entry, let's be honest. Competition, this relates back to the easy entry, because there's millions of sellers on there. It took me about, let's say for example, an hour to develop my first product. It's easy, it's simple, it doesn't require any high skills and buying power. This all relates back to the same sort of stuff, because there's so many people trying to buy products on the market. It means there's more customers, basically.
Okay.
They can decide what they want to buy. They can see easily, oh, this is a cheaper price, oh, this is an easier price. You know what I mean? And then, let's say for example, the final model I used was the ADA model. I used this model quite simply. Attention, I looked at getting attention through Instagram and Etsy. Interest, I gathered my interest from engaging photos, engaging videos, and showing personalization. And desire, I gave people free products. As I mentioned before, I think I mentioned earlier on, I got 3 sales overall. 2 of my 3 sales I gave away for free.
Yeah.
I sort of marketing technique in order, so I give it free, and they'd post it on social media a few times.
Yeah.
I don't think it worked out well for me, let's be honest. So, and personalisation, as mentioned before. And then action, where I got them to buy me was buying products was on Etsy. They could simply upload a photo in there and DM me. Instagram, DM, and also my 50% discount on the first 10 orders. That's about it, really. Yeah, that's about it.
Oh,
Anyway, I'll bounce the question back at you. What theories and models did you use?
Yeah, so to be honest, Ruben, you summed it up pretty well just then. But I'll tell you my experience with the same models. So the first model that I used and sort of researched about on ChatGPT was the BML model, and that was actually pretty relevant towards what my project was, which is short form content, because it allows rapid testing, which is good. So I can post 30 videos, measure the watch time and retention on each video, and then double down on high performing topics. So mainly just focus on those niches once I learn from which is performing the best. But yeah, like I said, it's highly applicable to short form content because it just shows the low production costs and the fast feedback loops. So it's pretty good. However, though, AI underestimated the psychological difficulty of consistency. So that was the only downside to the BML model for me. But yeah, so Porter's 5 forces as well. You know, of all the 5 forces, right? The ones that applied to me, or that I took out and sort of learned more about, was that the competitive rivalry is extremely high in the short form content business. There's so many people doing it, as you know. YouTube's actually cutting and slashing a lot of YouTube channels recently. Yeah, because there's so many AI sloppy, form content that they're just like cancelling out. The threat of new entrants is very high because anyone could start. It's pretty easy. The buyer power, is high because viewers scroll pretty instantly. So you gotta make sure you retain their attention pretty quick.
Locked in.
Yeah, exactly. And the substitutes, there's infinite entertainment options. There's Netflix, there's TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whatever. Like, there's so much out there. There's so many different substitutes, but yeah. So it was just useful using this model because it's made me understand that the market is saturated. However, AI didn't highlight the algorithmic differentiation. So viral mechanics can matter more than traditional videos in the social media world. So it's all about the algorithm and just getting that on point so you can go viral every time, really. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. But the models have definitely helped me identify what I need to work on.
Okay, right. We talked a lot about the process and models that we're using, but let's talk about the positives and negatives of AI when sort of creating idea generation, that sort of etc. Evan, what do you think the positives are of using AI for this?
Yeah, I mean, idea generation is so quick and on it. That is great, and the speed of it as well. The speed that you can get all these ideas.
100% as well. Let me get in there as well.
Yeah.
Cost reduction. Yeah. It's so simple and easy. Let's say, for example, there's something called vibe coding, which I don't know if you guys have heard about before, but vibe coding, you can use AI to actually vibe code these days. So create actual code for websites, which not back in the day, but let's say a year ago, it could have taken 100 hours of typing in code, and AI can do it in seconds. It's just crazy how fast it can do it. Yeah, creating websites is a high cost ticket item. I mean, it could cost you 10 to 15 grand if you want a fully good website. I mean, vibe coding isn't all there yet, let me just tell you that, but it's getting there in a few years, which is scary, as Evan said. It's scary to see how it's coming in the future.
You could just create any design as well, like anything you want, really, in AI. It's just,
Marketing the future is scary, guys. I mean, what's going to happen to the jobs?
It is, exactly. I don't know. Don't praise it all though, Ruben. Because we need to go over the how AI was really not that helpful.
Give me some negatives, mate. Give me some negatives.
I mean, where do I start? Where AI was sort of limited, in my eyes, was doesn't really understand emotional branding. It it doesn't help or visualize where humans like. It doesn't have that emotional and human connection.
Completely agree with you. It didn't have a brain. It's working off past, as I said before, past algorithms.
Yeah.
Stuff that's happened before in the past. It's not. It can't think for itself.
It doesn't have a heart,
Exactly.
It's,
and your ideas have got to have heart, got to have passion.
Exactly that.
Yeah, and another one, can I just bring him out? I'd say AI tends to agree, as I mentioned before. Confirmation bias. It likes to agree with you, what you say. Yeah, and AI's lacks live market intuition. It can't predict stuff for the future. Have you got any more for me, or?
I mean, just it gives sometimes generic marketing advice. It doesn't really doesn't give you concise and particular information unless you like go into your prompt has to be detailed and concise if you want a response like your prompt.
Very interesting.
Yeah,
I agree.
If you have a generic prompt, you'll get a generic answer, but
100%. Right, so being all over your stuff. All right, let's get down to what is important. If you had to do this again, 2-week project, 2-week task open business, what do you reckon you'd do differently, and why?
I mean, over this whole project, I've definitely reflected on a lot of things, and one thing that I'd definitely do differently or definitely change, is my niche positioning. I definitely need to find a particular niche and head straight on to that. Not just
Completely agree with that.
Not be broad, because short form AI content is so broad and so saturated that anyone could come into market and do the same thing as 100 other people. So I definitely want to find a niche, get that just into my channels and just stick with it, and hopefully retain all of the attention from my audience as quickly as I can.
Just you said that, to be fair, I can't agree with my own business. I feel like what I did was so broad, so vague, I need to niche down.
Yeah.
Although I did pick animals, I think maybe I should just target dogs or something like that. Just keep it specific. Because as I said, you can't boil the ocean.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You can't boil the ocean. That's a very good saying, Ruben.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think AI overall in this project has definitely expanded my curiosity for learning. As moving forward, and what I'd do differently is definitely I need to look into things such as creator economy, sustainability, algorithm economics, and attention economic theory, which are 3 things I didn't know anything about, and AI has definitely revealed these topics to me as something I need to look forward and research more as I go more in depth into this AI short form content business.
Fair enough. Anyway, for me, I'd probably say I'd run paid ads. See, what I did, I don't think it got that many customers. I didn't get that many people viewing it. I didn't get that many people seeing it. I want to get my idea out there, get my product out there. So I do genuinely think it's a good idea, and I will continue to go with it after this. But I just feel like that's one of the things I need to do. Another one, maybe validate demand before printing. Because actually, you know what? We're not going to do that. I feel like it was cheap to print, cheap to get going. Will work well for my Instagram page. We'll go off that sort of point. But also need to build a bigger audience. Get the audience together. Think of more marketing techniques I can do. Yeah. As I said on my my blog, only getting 12 followers across 2 weeks. Not the best, let's be honest. But if I could grow it further, I feel like there is a demand there for the target market I'm looking at. There's definitely a demand because...
Yeah, that's definitely something I need to do as well, is raise the audience and just get more people watching the content. But that's obviously comes with time and consistency. So I think that's all we can do really, is give it time and consistency, both of us.
100%. Anyway,
projects. It's lovely talking to you.
It was a
Scott.
great podcast, guys.
I hope you enjoyed this session and this podcast. We really had a good, fun time today.
Next episode, we're coming soon.